Ever wonder how much it costs to participate in a New Orleans parade? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you all the details. Alright, so in this final video in our video series chronicling our trip down to New Orleans to participate in the Krewe of Boo parade, I want to talk about how we actually got into the crew to be able to participate in the parade and how much it costs, the financial commitment. Alright, so the example that I'm going to use here is obviously the parade that we participated in, which is the Krewe of Boo parade, the huge Halloween parade that happens every October in New Orleans. And it's huge. It uses all of the same floats that are used in all of the big Mardi Gras parades. They're just reskinned and rethemed and repainted, but it is a huge parade. But obviously this is going to be specific to this parade, and there's going to be some differences if you're talking about other Mardi Gras parades or other parades throughout the year. I mean, New Orleans basically has a parade for everything. We just happen to pick the Krewe of Boo parade to participate in. All right, so first we'll talk about how we got into the crew, how we actually got in to participate in the parade, and then we'll talk about all of the financials that come along with participating in a New Orleans parade. So it's basically a three-step process to get into the Krewe of Boo parade. The first thing you do is you just go to their website and apply, fill out like a little application, and then they email you back, they contact you, and they actually set up a phone interview where you actually speak with the parade coordinator. And when I got this email, I took it serious like it was an interview. I don't know how serious it actually ended up being, but I prepped for it. Wanted to tell them how many times we come to New Orleans, how much we love Halloween, etc. So then you speak with the parade coordinator. Again, it didn't end up being that serious of a conversation. I don't really know how much quote-unquote screening was done, but then basically we were in at that point, and the last thing to do was pay the parade dues, and once you do that, you're in and you are part of the crew and you're participating in the parade. All right, so getting in was pretty straightforward. The cost of it is a little bit more obscure, and there's a lot of extra costs that you can pay for. Now, first things first, as I will say that not just the Krewe of Boo, but we talked to other people that were in this crew that participated in this parade, that lived in New Orleans, that participated in other parades. So I always felt that being in a New Orleans parade, you kind of had to be grandfathered in or know somebody to get in, but it is actually possible to just get in as quote unquote an outsider. So again, back to the cost. So we'll go over mandatory costs, and then we'll go in to cost if you want to participate in all of the activities, because it's not just participating in the parade. There's activities kind of throughout the whole long weekend. The whole weekend there's activities going on, and I mean Friday and Saturday. We got in on Thursday, we left on Sunday, but basically we had a packed weekend. So I'll go over the mandatory fees that you have to pay to participate in the parade, and then the extra fees, the extra activities that you can pay extra to participate in that are also a part of the Krewe of Boo weekend. And then I will finally give you what we actually spent. All right, so I've got my spreadsheet here. I'm gonna go over everything, break everything down, itemize everything, and we will start with the mandatory fees. And obviously I'm not including things like your hotel, transportation, food, all of that. These are just things that you need to pay for if you want to participate in the parade and some of the other activities. So first thing is obviously the dues. How much are the crew dues to just be in the crew and participate in the parade? That's $650 for, again, the Krewe of Boo specifically. And what this includes is on Friday, you will have a walking, what they call a second line parade on Bourbon Street, which goes to Pat O'Brien's. And this is an open event, so it's just kind of a hangout at Pat O'Brien's. It's all cash bar if you want to have a drink there. And then another thing that's included is the captain's party, which happened to be on Bourbon Street at Mambo's, the Friday before. So again, Friday's a packed day. The Friday before, again, it's cash bar, but they do have free food there. So it's free food at the captain's party. And then on Saturday, it will also include a pre-party right before the parade. And you will go in and it's cash bar, but they have free food. And they also have face painters there if you want to get your makeup done. And then you participate in the parade. And then also included is what they call the Monster Mash, which is the parade after party. And then outside of this, also something that is included is in spring, basically halfway to Halloween, they have what they call the Axeman's Ball, which is a kind of, I think, a 1920s themed ball. We did not participate in it because we signed up after, but we are planning on participating in it this year. That happens in spring. I think it happened April of this past year. All right, so that's the dues and what the dues cover. And the next thing that you have to purchase, there's no getting around it, are the items, the things that you throw out to the crowd from the float that you throw down. They're called throws, and they come in different packages. So you can spend as much as you want here, but the bare minimum package is $400. And it includes things like beads and stuffed animals and some food items of just a variety of things that you can throw out to the crowd. So again, that's a mandatory cost. You have to buy the things that you throw out to the crowd. You can buy a $600 package if you want, so you can go up. You can buy certain things individually if you like, and we did some of that, and I'll talk about that when I get to how much we actually spent. But the bare minimum, again, if we're talking about just doing the bare minimum to get into the parade, is again the $650 dues, and on top of that, $400 for the things you throw out. All right, so the only other cost that's quote unquote mandatory is whatever you spend on your costume. So you do have to be in a costume, and I think this is true for all New Orleans parades, not just the Halloween parade, but with the Halloween parade, again, I'm giving you specifics for that one, the Krewe of Boo parade. You do have to be in a costume. You can spend whatever you want on that. So I'm just adding an extra $100 because that's what I spent on my costume into the mandatory fees as well. So if you add all of that together, the minimum amount that you need to spend to participate in the Krewe of Boo parade is $1,150, and that's just for the parade and everything I listed. But again, Friday and Saturday are absolutely packed with activities, and some of them are extra. They're charged extra. They're not mandatory. You can skip them if you like. But again, if you want to participate in all the activities, I'm going to list those as well. So the first is a royal brunch. So it's called a royal brunch. It happened at Galatoire's on Bourbon Street the Friday before the parade. So the Friday before the Saturday, which is when the parade actually rolls, that was $150. And then the day of the parade, the Saturday morning, they have a 2-mile race. It's called the Zombie Run, and that is $25. All right, so if we total everything up, if you want to participate in every activity organized by the Krewe of Boo, including tax, you will spend $1,363. All right, so what did we actually spend? So we didn't spend much more than this, but again, I mentioned that I bought one extra set of branded beads, and I actually bought them because I wanted to take them home, or a couple home, as a souvenir. So I threw some out and kept some, but they actually have the Krewe of Boo logo on. They flash, they light up. So I wanted some of those kind of for myself. So that was the only extra thing that I bought to throw down to the crowd. So I bought the $400 throw package plus this extra set of beads. So what I spent in total was $1,395. So again, to recap what you get for that price, the full schedule is spring, sometime in April, you get invited and you get admission to the Axeman's Ball. The Friday before the parade, you have the Royal Brunch, immediately followed by a walking second line parade to Pat O'Brien's for a happy hour, which again is cash bar, and then the captain's party that evening. And then on Saturday, you participate in the Zombie Run, which is a 2-mile race, and then the pre-parade party. Then you participate in the parade, and then immediately following the parade is the after party, the Monster Mash. And certainly you're going to want to factor in hotel, travel, any extra activities if you can fit them in. Again, this is a pretty packed weekend if you participate in all of the activities. All right, check out our other videos if you want to know what it's actually like to participate in the Krewe of Boo. Hope you found this helpful and enjoyable. Take care.